Namaskar, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a warm welcome to all of you. I am Harka Thakur, a proud member of Aabhaso Foundation. And on behalf of the foundation, I welcome you all. We have participants from all over India today participating in this session. We have people registered from MP, UP, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and a few from US also. I don't know they are participating as of now or no. We might check later on. We are a group of professionals, IT professionals, who came together with a common interest of serving the society, giving back to the society. And somebody rightly said, it's good that you have to give back to the society you live in. So that's what we are doing together. And we are working in field of education and empowerment, the Aabhaso Foundation, empowerment of the needy. And we'll also continue to conduct such sessions for career development for students from across the streams and field. We work towards skill development also for the underprivileged and the needy people, and so that they can earn their livelihood. Plan is to bring all the government schemes to them and upgrade their skills as per the requirements so that they can earn their livelihood and living. So that's the plan. And we have also worked for kids of construction workers where they did not go to school. So we started coaching them and putting that interest about education and schooling, formal schooling. So we worked in that field also. Any one of you who wish to volunteer or help us for our activities and events, you have our email ID. You can get in touch with us. We would be happy to have you. And we will try to keep you posted on the activities what we do. So another request to all of you as of now is to keep your phones on mute. We are trying to keep it on mute as far as possible so that we don't get disturbed during the session. You have any questions during the session, please use the chat box which is available on your screen on the top right hand corner of yours. Or else we are going to have last 15 minutes of this session for question answers. So during that you can ask question answers and we can have an interactive question answer session with Mr. Sourov. Thank you so much. So now let me speak a bit about our speaker today. And we are honored and privileged to have him speak here to all of us, including all the students and us. And he is currently director at Deloitte and he is based out of Singapore. And he has over 25 years of experience in consulting and management. And he is an accomplished public speaker and also trains and coaches young adults in art of expressing themselves effectively rather, in association with various educational institutes in the region. He is the founder of Kids Speak, an initiative through which he has trained close to 150 young adults in Singapore over the past few years. Sourov has also worked with various consulting giants in Oracle application areas such as PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, and GE in USA, Asia, and Europe, managing large global programs. Sourov has master's degree in management from IIM Calcutta and is a postgraduate finance degree from CFA Institute. So may I now welcome Sourov and I'll hand it over to him.
Well, thank you so much, Harkaji. I believe the more slides have to be transferred to the done. Okay, thank you for that.
Yes,
yeah. So thank you for the introduction, Harkaji. And at this stage, I'll share my screen and take you through a few things. And before I start, I want to thank Harkaji and his foundation for giving me the opportunity to engage with all of you. I'd like to keep it a very engaging and interactive session. For the first half, I'll give you some inputs and ideas from my experience. I try to avoid theoretical sessions where it's more theory. I rather make it more practical. So whatever I share with you are practical experiences which I myself have tried and tested. And that's what I wanted to share with all of you this afternoon. It's afternoon in Singapore, but I know it's good morning there. So it's good morning to all of you. Let me share my screen and then we will get going with the presentation. Let me know, Harkaji, when you can see, which means everybody can see my screen as well. Can you see my screen? Or I need to unmute you guys, right? Just let me know on the Skype if the screen is viewable to all of you. I believe you all can see my screen?
Yes, Sourov, we can see you.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
yes,
you.
screen. Yeah.
So the theme I wanted to put forward today to all of you is called attract, captivate, and engage. And that is what we need to do when we want to get into the corporate world. We need to attract the right people to recognize our talent. We need to be able to captivate them and engage them as we go ahead. So that's why I've used this as the theme of today's discussion. The key areas I'll cover today. Can hear my echo. So I've muted everybody, but I still can hear so. Is everybody? Hello? Okay. So coming back to the areas I wanted to cover today, 3 areas. One is I wanted to share 3 secrets to corporate success, again, as I said, based on my experience and what can help us in these difficult times of COVID. I would call these 3 secrets of mine as something that should be applicable with or without this current difficulty that we're going through. If you use these principles, at least it's worked for me, it will help you in every situation through your career. The second part is where we'll get into looking at interviewing tips, and I'll take you all through the various interview scenarios, but also importantly share with all of you what's the corporate angle, what does the corporate world look at when they're bringing people like you into the corporate world, and what are those parameters that they actually focus on. So that will give you an insight on the inner workings of the corporate world and what they essentially look at while hiring. And then we'll do an interesting exercise. We will do a role play of 3 interviews that we'll do, through which I'll share some input. So we'll pick up 3 candidates from the audience, and then we'll do 3 different types of interviews with them. And through that, I'll try to share, what are those practical things that are asked and how you should be responding to those. So we'll also do that. I know Harkaji said 15 minutes. I put it to 10, but we can go a little more. If people are prepared to stay on longer, I can stay on a little more also. So this is broadly how the 1-hour session is broken up. Okay. In terms of my experience, you already heard I've worked with various education institutes, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. So coming to what the topic is today. Now, I think if I were to ask you even 6 months ago, what are you looking to do? You would be inspired, you would have goals, you'll have a vision. However, if I ask you today, you will have all of this, but it will be blurred by this particular vision. And now, a year ago, if I showed you this picture, you would have no sense what this picture meant. In fact, 6 months ago, if I'd shown you this picture, you would have no sense what this particular picture meant. But now, if I just show this picture, you know exactly what this means, right? So this is the green before is the pre-COVID world, and now is a post-COVID world. And people are already racking their heads and wondering, how will work change? How will the way we look at things change? Do I need to build different skills? There will be changes for sure. But if somebody tells you today that he knows exactly what they will be, he's just trying to be an astrologer. He really doesn't know what is coming. He's just trying to speculate, right? And speculation is even more difficult because we don't exactly know when this epidemic will actually end. So what we should be looking at now is, what are the skills that I have that can take me through any time, whether it's a good time or it's a difficult time. And that's why for today, I wanted to share with you 3 stories from my life. And the first story that I'm going to share with all of you is based on this logo. And I'm quite sure everybody knows what this logo is, and you can also type it on the chat if you know what this logo is. But this is the Nike logo. I think most of you would know. And the Nike tagline is "Just Do It," and this is something that has stuck with me. And if I go back to 1995, right? So that's the time, possibly most of you might not even have been born, possibly, I don't know, or some of you would have been by then, possibly. But that's the time where this particular scene is from a city in India, and I think most of us know which city this is. This is Calcutta, and this is that famous tram line that actually runs through. Why am I showing you this screen? This is my life in 1995, because when I was doing my MBA, I was also trying to do my CFA, and I was actually trying to get from one part of Calcutta to the other part of Calcutta, and I didn't have that money. So the only way I could do it is by tram. It was very slow, but that's the only way I could actually move across from one place to the other. And at that time, I used to wonder, is it worth all this effort I'm taking? I'm studying here and I'm studying here. I'm going through, I'm struggling so much. Is it worth all this trouble? I can tell you, when you face this sort of a situation that you're facing today also, that, this is my final year, or, what is going to happen? I've got this particular job. Will this job stay? You have all these thoughts in mind. The easiest way to get that out is just do the work that you're doing and do it well. Don't try to clutter it with too many things. What happens is why we create problems for ourselves is we actually bring the problems of the future to the present, and then we start to wonder about it, and that impacts your present. So what's worked for me well is, in this tram, when I used to sit, I used to try to take those thoughts away from my mind and say, okay, now I'm going to this class and I need to do this. So I try to just focus short term, just do that particular work. Okay. So this is the first story that I wanted to share with you, which is Just Do It. The second story is from a very famous book called The God of Small Things. This author is not very popular now, I know, in India, but the book is very good. And I wanted to use the text to share some background noise. Just trying to mute everybody so that I can hear myself. Okay, so The God of Small Things is a book, as you know, and what I wanted to share here is a learning that I had, and let me show you which part of my life I'm talking about. So this is 2002. By now, most of you are born, and this is the General Electric office, and this is in New York, and this is where I was in 2002. So if I look back to 95 and I know what I did there paid off, because I am at a place that I want to be. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of snow here. This is Christmas time. You can see the lights and stuff. However, in one of those lights, possibly I am working there. And what am I doing? I'm not really doing anything big or impactful at this time because it's holiday week. People are off on holiday, but there are still some issues and calls coming in, and I'm sitting at one of these offices trying to go through that, and it might look like a very small thing I'm doing. However, the vice president of General Electric was walking around at that time, and he was wondering, who's this guy sitting here? So he came over, and we started to have a conversation. And in a normal circumstance, I was such a junior guy. We would never have interacted. But because I was there doing something which I felt it may have been small, but it was important to me, I got that audience. And years later, I actually got a job back in India with Oracle Consulting because of him, because he was heading Oracle Consulting in India at that time. And that happened because he knew me from this interaction. So the learning I want to share with you is never look down on any work. Even when you're supposed to, if your boss asks you to make a Xerox copy, do it. Make sure you do it well. That's what is important. Make sure that the copy that you take prints out well. If it's unclear, remove it. Print another copy. Make sure that you keep the copy attached and stapled or with a clip and give it to him in that manner rather than, okay, this is a small piece of work, is really fine, let me just do it and finish it off. Right? I think that's the mistake sometimes that I have made myself, and I have learned that the best way to be successful in life is not just be doing the big things. Yes, you would get that opportunity and on a big stage, and you need to do that. But success comes from doing the small things right. And that's why the theme of God of small things. So try to be that. Try to do the small things well. Right? You have come, I'll give you another example. You have joined this meeting, you have invested time, right? Some of you may be on your phone and listening and not listening and unattentive, but some of you, I'm sure, is trying to listen attentively and pick up something. And you're taking those notes. You are doing those small things right now. And when you look back after 10 years, you'll say, yes, this is one thing I learned here, which has actually helped me in life. So try to do the small things right. And that's my second story for you. And COVID or no COVID, if you do your small things right, I can tell you nobody can stop you in life and in work. The third one is what I call the loyalty program. Now, loyalty program, I'll take you to 2016. So this is 14 years later. And this one, I don't know whether most of you can recognize this place, but this is in the Taj Mahal Hotel in Mumbai. And you see all those names there which are written. These are the names of the people who have died. And if you see, and I'm sure you can't read it properly here, but the last name there is Lucy. Lucy was the watchdog, or the dog which was there, which was also killed. The reason for me for giving this picture, and by the way, I visited it because I was doing a story on customer service, and I wondered, what sort of loyalty does an organization build where the employee is literally willing to give up his life for the organization? What sort of loyalty is being built within such an organization? And there was a lot of learning from there, which I wanted to share with you all today, is what I call the loyalty program. Loyalty is not a one-way street where you always expect the organization to give you things, right? It's a two-way thing, okay? And what is the two-way process? The two-way process is when you feel that this is your own organization and you behave like that. A lot of us want a lot of things from companies, but we are not willing to give that extra effort or that extra step. And in these hard times, it's even more essential that we do that. Okay? And what are ways that you can show loyalty, right? And one is just to do your work honestly. A lot of times we want to do work to show somebody. And that doesn't help. That doesn't help you. That doesn't help anybody, because you're more trying to place things in the right way rather than doing the things that are supposed to be done for the good of that organization. And I can tell you through my experience that I've had over 25 years, where I've done well is where I've generally put my head down and done things which are good for the organization, and in some shape or form, I've got it back from that organization. Where I have not done well, and I can tell you there have been places where I've made mistakes also, where I've not done well as I'm more thinking, okay, how to get to the next position, how to make sure that that boss likes me. When I start doing those things, I'm actually lost focus from my work. And that never helps. That doesn't help you to build loyalty with anybody. Also remember a very important thing about loyalty, it's about give and take. If you help somebody, I can tell you not only will that person help you back, others will help you as well. So don't always think this is my work. What happens if I share this? That person will know, and my knowledge would have gone. Don't think of it that way. And I can tell you, I've made the mistake of thinking like this. It's not that I have done it perfectly myself. I have not, right? But I've learned over time that loyalty is built by not just by words, but by action. So the more you can share, I can tell you, you will get back 10 times the return from everybody, including the person you're sharing with. So build that loyalty. Having said that, these are my 3 messages for something that will stand the test of time. Build loyalties, create friends, create networks through your action, your genuine actions. Be the god of small things. Do the small things well. And even in tough times, just focus on the next action. Don't try to overthink too much into the future. Okay, so these are the 3 lessons that will help you in your career, but I think it may help you in your life as well. Okay. So at this stage, I'll just take a pause, and I will ask the moderators if there